Hey, sorry, I got the wrong person there. Okay, so welcome. Today we have Ronan here from Blacks. We have Alessandro from Bura, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, and Christoph should be here from
Yes.
Latvia.
Oh, sorry.
Hear me now. Hello, guys.
So, we still have.
I'm sorry. We have the wrong camera here.
We'll manage. So,
Lovely, like.
you can stand like that for the whole thing. Okay. So we're off to a good start. So I don't know who'll come in today. We know we dropped off a lot of people last week when the weather got nice and the football started. So we'll just see who's here, if anybody comes in live, or if people just catch us on replays or on Facebook or things, because I'm streaming it there as well. And we'll see if people are watching. So we just have, like I said, we have Blacks from Kinsale in Ireland, Bura from Croatia, and I can't remember what part of Croatia.
Porridge on the seaside.
Okay, and Hopalaa from, I can't pronounce that, somewhere in Latvia, we'll say, and he can clarify for us later if he comes back. So so we're just basically we'll have a chat today and just talk about what the different brewing scenes and beer scenes are like in around the different parts of Europe. See what's happening now that the summer's coming, and just kind of where we go, and just compare scenes. So I was going to start with Hopalaa because I kind of had a vague idea. I know more about Ireland, less about Croatia, but I have a little bit about Latvia. But that seems to be disappearing. So maybe we'll start with Croatia altogether. How's brewing scenes in Croatia? Is it busy, or is there a big scene?
I can't hear you very well. I can't hear you very well because the voice comes and go. But I got your question. But busy here in Croatia. We are starting to be on the peak of the season because we work very much from May to September. Well, usually on a normal year we work from April to late November. Although, of course, we never close. We are always on the market. But consider that this part of Croatia, it's very touristic place. And also this year, last year was the season was pretty much okay, despite all the problems we had. And also this summer, it's going very good. So we are very busy.
And is most of your market is for tourists? Because I know you export a lot to Italy and to Switzerland, like to the neighboring countries. But is it mainly?
Well, our main market is Croatia, of course. We sell almost everywhere in Croatia. So the main market is Croatia. But then we export to Austria. It's an important market outside Italy, Switzerland, and Germany.
Okay.
But our main focus is obviously Istria, which is the region where I live, and then obviously the rest of Croatia.
Okay. And is there a lot of breweries in Croatia, or is it like is there a lot of kind of internal market, or is it still a lot of tourism related, reliant on tourism, or what's the actual beer scene like?
There are many breweries in Croatia, most of them in the capital, in Zagreb. We are all focused on the internal market. Of course, the tourists give us a big help. But the internal market is very interesting too. People are seeking for new style, new beers, quality craft beer. So it's very now challenging for the industrial beer to keep up with the quality. And the thing is, as we know, industrial beer don't have a good quality.
Yeah. So Ronan, did you have? Well, maybe we should open one of those. Which one do you think you should open? Is kind of more your biggest seller in the summer, or will be this summer, of the ones you sent over?
I didn't get it.
No, I'm just saying with of the bottles there, and Christop's giving a nice little demonstration of what's there. I'm saying which one is going to be your biggest seller this summer? Which should you open first that we can have a chat about?
Probably I didn't get the question. You're asking which is the main market?
No, I'm saying which beer do you recommend that we kind of start drinking there?
Okay. Golden Ale. The guy from Black. Did you get my beer? Did you?
I did. It actually arrived just yesterday.
Okay.
I was just leaving the brewery, and the box arrived. It was perfect timing.
Well, first of all, let me say something. I'm not Croatian. I do live in Croatia, but I'm originally from Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, I left Italy in 2007. Then I moved in a what I consider the most beautiful country in the world for 8 years. I lived there in 8 years in Ireland.
All right.
So, yeah.
And then you.
I lived 8 years in Dublin.
Okay. So, and when did you leave? What years were they? Like the craft.
Then I left Ireland in 2014.
Okay, so the craft beer scene was kind of only getting going here, really.
Yeah, I was living 2.5 years in Clonliffe Road, just beside the Croker. Then almost 6 years, very close to Porterhouse in Temple Bar.
Oh God!
Do you know Liam Lahart?
You know what? Sorry.
Do you know Liam Lahart, the owner of Porterhouse?
No, I don't personally. Ronan probably knows of him better than I do.
Sorry, I was just getting a beer there. What was the question there?
No, Alessandro was saying he lived for 6 years next door to the Porterhouse.
Oh, in the Temple Bar one.
I did live 8 years in Ireland and 6 years in West Essex Street, very close to Christchurch and 100 meters from the Porterhouse. Yeah, it was Dublin, Ireland in general was an amazing experience. I had a great time there, really. I worked in Sandiford for Microsoft. Then I worked for another company called Servisource, selling IT solutions to European customers. But then I wanted to quit. I didn't want to spend the rest of my life in front of a PC. So this is why I left Ireland. My wife is from Croatia, and then we moved to the seaside. But I still miss Ireland. Ireland was one of the best experience ever had. So I'm missing Irish people.
Very good. And missing the Porterhouse.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
this week actually. I was in the brewery in the Porterhouse this week.
Were you?
Yeah. Were you ever in the brewery, Alessandro?
Porterhouse Brewery? No, I was in the Porterhouse many times in Porterhouse, almost every day in the Porterhouse.
Just the bars.
Just a bar, yeah.
Yeah.
I know they're quite big.
Yeah. It's they do 10,000 liter batches, so it's big.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That was one that really kind of got craft brewing going in Ireland, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they're
25
years going now.
Jesus.
It could be 20. I know that this year they had there was a milestone for them. I think it was 20, but it could have been 25 years of Porterhouse there.
It probably was 25. Actually, thinking of it.
25, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when I arrived in Ireland in 2007, the craft beer movement was just booming at the beginning of its booming. I remember I was drinking. Do you know Trouble Brewing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trouble Brewing. Then Galway Hooker. Yeah, it was nice beer. I never had the possibility to drink blacks.
We were only since 2013, so it would have been after you left when the we kind of got going, you know. But it's crazy to think how different the beer scene was, you know, even back in 2007, you know, and like it's actually great that everybody that was there in 2007 is still going, you know.
Are they?
Yeah, I can't think of anybody that's closed up.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I suppose there's an awful lot more than there was.
Yeah. So back then, I think there was like 2007. You're probably 10 breweries around the country. That'll be about it for back then. I think there's 45 or 50 now, I think.
Yeah.
It's a nice little bump, you know.
I'm still having problem with the microphone. I can't hear you very well, but okay, probably we cannot solve it.
Yes,
we cannot solve this problem anyway.
We'll just repeat. So I'm Chris up. Hi.
Hi, I'm back.
You're back. Not just your legs.
Yeah. It was problems with camera, but now I'm back. So what we are drinking now?
Starting with Bura, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. His pale ale, what was it? The golden.
I'm sorry. I think half of Bura we already drink out.
We can start with our golden ale. It's the beer we sell the most in general, and it's the beer that we sell a lot in summertime.
Okay. And is that going selling a lot to tourists primarily, or to?
No, to Croatian people in general, and of course tourists. Both of them. I'll get an opera.
Everyone's left us. People coming and going. It's busy.
Go and get the beer there. I brought up a selection. I seem to have got the wrong ones.
Well, I've got some there, but yeah. So you're saying that this is the most popular summer seller?
It's the most popular. Well, we sell it. It's the number one sales also in during the whole year, but especially in the summer. Yeah. Hi, Hopalaa. Thank you very much for the beer. I got it.
Oh, nice to see.
So this is a golden ale. I'll describe it very, very quickly. It's a golden ale. Only two types of malt, Pilsen and Pale Ale, and 3 hops from Slovenia: Styrian Golding, Savinski, and Wolf. Slovenia is, as you know, probably is a very important country for hop, and we love the hop from Slovenia. We use many different hops from different parts of world, but this one from Slovenia is very nice. Cheers.
Good beer. Cheers. There's a lovely kind of a texture to the malt in it.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Is the malt from Croatia?
Yes, Pilsen is from Croatia, from Slavonia, and Pale Ale it's not from Croatia, it's from Austria.
Okay.
It's easy to drink beer. It's I mean all our beer are for beer lover, but also for people that have been drinking for many years industrial beer, and they have the first step into the craft beer. So It's our line. It's a kind of everyday beer, beer for every day, and very drinkable, not too complex. We have to consider that Istria, in particular, it's a wine country. It's a wine region, and we couldn't scare them with something very hoppy style and something like double New England IPA or something like that. We did it, but for some specific batch, and we sent it to some specific bars. In general, we see that our public loves our line because it's easy to drink, not too complex, and so we got our market.
And is that
how long have you been open?
5 years on the market.
5 years, yeah. But in Croatia, you're quite an old brewery in Croatian for a craft beer.
Well, the movement started in 2014, and we opened in 2015, and the first beer went to the market in April 2016. So we were one of the first, although there were other breweries. I mean, Croatia had the movement started late compared to the rest of Europe, but they had a very important home brewers movement.
Mm. And home distilling as well in Croatia.
Home distilling, yes.
Yeah.
Rakia,
a lot of Rakia and Slivovitz and stuff. Yeah. But I think it's quite interesting, the way that you talk about your beers there, saying that you're trying to make beers for everybody, nothing too challenging and nothing too out there. And I'm sure if you think back to what the beer was like in Ireland back in probably 2007 when you were there, that every brewery out there had a golden ale, they had a stout, and they had a red. And now breweries are opening up, and they're not doing that anymore. It's straight into double IPAs, really.
Yeah.
So I think your market is still at the start, and then it will just evolve and become this the New England craze.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, if I look at the website, I mean, you seem to have a core range, and it's not like Blackton, definitely not like Hopalaa, where it's kind of a new beer every couple of weeks. You seem to have a pretty consistent core range. I think we lost them.
If you are talking to me, I can't hear you very well, so I am having problem on
Okay.
on listening. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how to solve it, really. So the internet connection is everything is right. I don't know.
Okay, doesn't matter. So, Kristaps,
I can get something.
All right, Kristaps, how's things up in Latvia?
Oh, quite hot. We're getting problems with cooling down and canning. Yeah, we get more than 30 degrees. So it's hot.
We don't have that problem.
Yeah, but
well, we have this problem here. But I go to the beach later on.
Yeah. But anyway, we are trying to keep beer in canning minus 1.5, so we can't keep together several tons, but at least 2-3 tons we can keep for everyday canning.
Yeah. That's a different situation to what we have.
Yeah, but this is not the usual situation. I think it's for a week, 2 maybe maximum, and then it will be around 20 degrees. In that case,
Yeah. So your glycol system is struggling.
Yeah, it's uh, even it is now it's glycol we are keeping -4 and but yeah, and it is -4, but we can see that maybe there are losses in fermenters or in canning line and so on. So it's more foaming.
Yeah, you just can't keep it down. The ambient temperature is killing you.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah. One day, hopefully, we might have that problem.
Never. They keep promising global warming. It never happens.
Yeah. It was nice yesterday, but it's cold enough today. It looks like rain. So
I think we're in here too.
Yeah, but it seems that
yeah,
only
the
me
summer.
and blacks are drinking. Brian and Hopalaa, you're not.
Sorry? Oh,
It seems that only me and the blacks of Kinsale we are drinking. Well, you don't have the glass on your hand.
no, I don't. I miss.
yeah.
I have to go get one actually. But then I leave you all alone, and then nothing happens.
I hope your glass is not stolen. We get a problem with these collectioners of glasses and so on, and so they're regular.
They're very nice glasses. The both glasses. They're quite unique shape. I really like the Bura one, and the Hopalaa one is it's a red wine glass, is it? By design.
This is, no, actually, these were presented as beer glasses in this Rustal company.
Yeah.
So
It looks like a red wine glass, but it's a great glass for drinking beer out of.
Yeah. And it's also just the beer is nice.
yeah, you can quite good position hop smell you can feel there.
Yeah, there's a good funnel on it. Mm.
Yeah.
Are you guys very busy in Hopalaa?
Yeah, quite busy.
Yeah, it's the same here. We only the pubs just reopened for outdoors a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So like we've been filling kegs for the first time in 12 months, and it's hard to readjust the production flow to be doing kegs and draft beer again. We can't even find any kegs to fill.
Yeah, you from one kind you are quite lucky because we have a quite small local market. As we are, our beer is designed for beer geeks.
Yeah.
So we get almost every week we have something new, and it's most of that goes to export, and in that markets everyone demands something new every time.
Yeah.
So second time they could take after half a year or maybe a year.
Yeah. No, it's the same situation in Ireland. Really, the kind of the mainstream market is quite saturated. It's very hard to get taps, but if you can do small batches of new beer, it will always sell. But you talk to anybody that has an off license, they say, "I'll buy 1 case of anything," which is I rarely buy a second case of anything.
Yeah. What is your small batch for you? When I heard
well, it's a 2,500 liter. It's SSV. It's a fully automated system. But I usually brew doubles. All my fermenters are 5,000. So if there's a kind of a small batch needed, I'll do a half fermenter, which would be 2,500. But yeah, usually 5,000. So you'd be looking at an output, say, of 400 cases. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 1 ton system, but we have 2 types of fermenters, 1 ton and 2 tons. So
yeah,
as we see that for new beers, it's more better to brew 2 tons than 1 ton. Because new beer, everything goes out, and and when we make it second time, it's enough with 1 ton.
Yeah.
Then after that, some supermarkets, local supermarkets, take it out and make an order for that, and then we can go back to 2 tons
Yeah.
with these beers.
Mhm.
But usually,
Sorry, lads, I'll try to exit for a moment because it's simply impossible for me to hearing what you're saying.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll exit for a second and I'll be back.
all
Cool.
right.
Yeah, I was very impressed with your beer and your packaging, I have to say. And I got the box, and I was like, oh, there are probably 3 or 4 different beers there, you know. And I usually I give them to the other brewers, and just to kind of share the love, you know. And I was like, oh, that's everyone 12 different beers in the box. I was like, yeah. These guys are busy; they're pumping it out.
Yeah.
Quite interesting styles I found as well. I see you're kind of big into your milkshake IPAs, and your lactose influence seems to be kind of going across the board there, which is it's not something I'd have thought of when I thought I was getting some Latvian beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, very new style.
Yeah. Usually, around 60% of our beers are IPAs. Most of those are New Englands, and for those, half of them, maybe third, is with lactose. So usually two kinds of yeast, London fog or juice, imperial juice. So
Yeah.
for New Englands, for other what comes.
Yeah, I have to say I really like the packaging. I might actually steal the idea of the way that you have all of the ingredients. It's really tidy.
Yeah.
Just down the one side there and having it straight up the other side.
I have seen in Russian breweries, they have even more detailed this not only a recipe, but also all these gravity, starting and final gravity, and all other things.
Yeah, have you tried to export beer to Russia?
No.
No, it's very, very difficult. They want a lot of information.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah,
we don't need to. Because
no. But even the level of detail that you go with your ingredients there, you know, that's not necessary. But for your market of beer geeks like us, I really like picking it up and kind of going, oh Jesus, was it Cascade or have we gotten this one a bit of Sabro in there?
Yeah.
You know, you try and pick out those flavors.
Yeah, I was impressed. The fact the yeast was more mentioned than I saw on any other, probably. You know, it's equal to the hops and the malts, and it's mostly it gets pushed down.
Well, listing the strains is
I don't know. Probably we are showing yeast because sometimes we are using some not commercially used yeasts as we are propagating it by ourselves. We're not buying large amounts, and so we can make whatever we need to make.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again. So you're propagating your own yeast. You have a house yeast, is it?
No. We are not using. We don't have house yeast. How it's called usually? Yes.
Yeah.
We are propagating yeast. What we are needed, because a lot of the yeasts are coming in small packages, 100 milliliters. Some experimental and so on. Not only from White Labs you can get something big. Here
Okay.
Yes, but a lot of yeasts are sold in very small packages. And
yeah, it's quite hard because even London Fog, you can only get as a fresh pitch. It's not available dry, so you know it adds a lot of cost, and there's logistics to it as well. We're quite lucky; we have a company in Ireland that propagates yeast, and it does a lot of lab testing and stuff for us. So I can just ring them up and kind of go, look, I've got a batch here. I want 5,000 liters. This is starting gravity. I'm looking for this final gravity. Can you give me a pitch of say London Fog or London Ale yeast, and they'll whip that up for me. But for a once-off, it is expensive. I think it's around about €400 or €500 just for the yeast, which kind of, that kind of takes its toll. So if you can harvest yeast and propagate and build that up, for you guys to take 100 ml, like a homebrew sample, and build that up to a commercial pitch, that's quite impressive. That's a good lot of work there.
We have done it from very, very beginning. So I think we are experienced in the propagating of yeast in the same amount as experienced in brewing beer.
Yeah, but it's quite a different kind of technique as well. There's a lot of kind of specialized equipment that you'll be using there. Even in yeast brink tanks, I suppose you'll have quite a few of those.
Yeah. Actually, when you have very wide varieties of liquid yeast, what you can use, you can make very different not styles, because everyone can make different style, but using different beers, different yeasts, you can spread a lot in different tastes of and how this mouth feel you get. Because you never regret, never, as at least what I have seen, yes, even very expensive dried yeast, they will never, at least till this moment, compare with for example, that one on Fog or juice, imperial juice.
Yeah, no, that's true. The Verdant is quite close, and there are a few other New England styles yeast from Lanneman, New England is quite good as well, for that ester profile. But you can always tell the London Fog beers.
Yeah, but these I think the main problem for dry yeasts, even in the first month, they are the look and the smell and all the mouthfeel is the same. Second and third months they start to fall out, and the beer starts to clarify, and when it starts to do that, it's not the same beer as it was before.
Yeah. I think it's a luxury I don't have at the moment, unfortunately, to be propagating yeast, just because we distill a lot as well. So we're a brewery and distillery, so we'd be making gin, rum, and we make a lot of whiskey. So the beers kind of it's still a very, very important part of it, but kind of focus-wise, time-wise, and space-wise, we're very, very tight at the moment. So we just use dried yeast. We would repitch though and try and make it our own, but yeah.
Have to have priorities. So
maybe down the line we probably will be looking at yeast propagation tanks and try and get into that. But I've very limited kind of laboratory space and equipment, so I like the safety net of a dried yeast, where if you start propagating wild yeast while making whiskey wine, it'd be very easy to pick up an infection, whether it be a kind of a wild yeast or Bacillus or something else. And
I think safety issues are the biggest problem. What afraids brewers from. So.
Yeah, there's a safety to cutting the top off a pack and pouring it in.
Yeah, but we have learned to use steam very widely.
Sorry, was that steam?
Steam. We are steaming everything.
Yeah.
What could be steamed and what can't be steamed, it should be made to be steamed.
Yeah. Well, it's the old way, Cost great, parasitic is great.
Yeah, it's very effective.
Just bring above 85 anyway, just to be sure.
Yeah, because disinfection is only a disinfection.
Yeah.
Steam, we are moving to sterilization part.
Yeah.
Different story if you are talking about propagation, because as we know, every bacteria multiplies every 20 minutes. Yeast does it only in 8 hours.
Mm. Yeah, it's something you have to try and explain to people. Even, you know, as I said, with the whiskey wash, it's you know, the fermenter for a whiskey wash doesn't have to be clean and sterile. It just has to be clean enough and sterile enough that the dominant bacteria in the fermenter is the yeast, and not a wild yeast or a different strain of yeast or anything else, you know. But it's a different story. Then you go onto the brewing side and it's like, no, kill everything.
In propagation side, you have to kill everything.
Yeah.
you don't have hops. You have a very warm situation. You have a lot of oxygen there. So if something gets there, it will definitely overgrow the yeast.
Yeah. Now, actually, you're providing the perfect conditions. That's what propagation is, you know. So, yeah, fun stuff. For your sour beers, I see you're listing just German ale yeast. What do you use for? I presume it's kettle sour, is it?
Yeah, for kettle sour, actually, show me what you got. I will say what it is.
The sour bit. I haven't opened it yet. I was just looking at the can there.
It's
strawberry.
Yeah. For this, we were using just a grain.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You only think what you have to do is to lower pH down to 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5. 4.5. That is just to not to allow other bacteria what on the grain to overgrow. That is first thing. Second thing, you have to push under in the kettle. You have to push CO2.
Yeah. Not anything airborne.
Yeah, these two things. But for the latest ones, I am propagating bacteria from yogurt. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot how this Lactobacillus is called, but it's quite popular. You can buy it even dry. I really don't remember it.
Yeah. Oh, that's impressive. I don't think anybody in Ireland has done that with the grain, as far as I know. We've a few kind of wild breweries, kind of farmhouse breweries. And I think they're all pitching lactobacillus, as far as I know.
Yeah,
what temperature would you mash at then?
Sorry,
what temperature would you mash?
For lactobacillus, 39 to 43. We usually do it.
So it'd be quite a low yield, gravity-wise.
But I think we could rise temperature. But the biggest difference between grain and propagation of the starter from yogurt is that with grain we are getting the sourness what is needed around 48 hours.
Yeah.
But with starter we are getting through in 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's quite a big difference. And from this, you definitely can see that in the grains there are several kinds of lactobacillus. But when you make this starter from yogurt, you can get only this one. And this sourness it's more soft there. You can get low pH, but it's much more soft.
In the grain, is it?
No. In yogurt.
In the propagation.
Yeah, because in grain it's sometimes very harsh or very strong or
sharp.
Yeah, sharp. So of course with grain it's much more easier, but now we are shifting to this yogurt, I have found exactly one type of yogurt what I'm using, and it's
doing the job.
yeah. But anyway, our plan is to move to the casks for sour beers, because these kettle sours, they are it's starting level for sour ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna put in a cool ship.
No. We are definitely not going to do the spontaneous fermentation. That is the next level, maybe, which will never come. But I think I will propagate all these bacteria what is needed, and just to brew and ferment simple ale, and just to put in the barrels to get this needed sourness. And then, of course, I think the biggest problem what I'm afraid of is this mixing,
the blending.
Blending. Yeah, because I have never done it with casks, but I know that without blending you will never get good results.
Yeah, it's tricky, all right.
Yeah,
you have to decide which barrels and which proportion you should take, and probably there will be some barrels what will stay there for, I don't know, 10 years, and you will use maybe 1-2 liters to mix in.
Yeah, just to use them up.
Just to give some kind of characters of vinegar or something like that. I have never done it, but I have read about a lot of that. But I know that it will be. We will have to do that.
Yeah.
There seems to be real skill to the blending that people are,
Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry?
Hello, Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I would like to intervene in the conversation, but unfortunately, I only get the 5 or 10% of what you're saying.
Okay.
It's a nightmare. I tried everything, but I don't know, either the connection or the phone. It's not working at all. I can see that you can hear me.
Yes,
clearly, but I don't hear you. I tried everything, but really. It doesn't make sense to go ahead with this video. I don't get anything what you're saying. I'd like to talk to you. I would like to talk to you, but I simply can't because I'm not getting what you're saying.
Okay.
Jesus,
well, look.
so pity. I will talk to you over the phone directly.
Okay. I should look. If you want to stay and just see if it improves or not, then or if you think it's better to just head off, then do whatever you think is best.
I'm not getting what you're saying, unfortunately, totally.
Okay.
Listen, big hug. Hey, Brian, we'll try probably another time. But I have to fix something here. I don't know what's wrong.
Okay.
Big hug to Irish people. Ireland always in my heart. And 8 years, the most beautiful years of my life. And Hopalaa, thank you very much for the beer. I really enjoyed it. And I'm very sorry I have to leave because it's I don't get anything what you're saying. I'm very sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Nice to meet
you, lads. I'm sorry.
Thanks for coming on, and we'll, like I said, we'll talk again another time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I've gone ahead and opened the sour bit since we're talking about it. The smell is amazing. I presume that's is it fruit purees you're putting in?
This one was this with cherries and coffee, not coffee but chocolate.
Cherries, strawberries, cacao nibs, sea salt, lactose, and vanilla.
No, I think no. In this case, it was fruits. It was not puree.
So real fruit into the fermenter.
Yeah.
I I have to say, I love your style, man. I'd be a home brewer, kind of background, and I can see from even the way that you're talking about propagating up yeast and the ingredients and what you're doing with the beers, like it's quite innovative, and it's just upscaled home brewing for you.
Yeah, that's because we were home brewers for 5 years in garage. We made our first yeast propagation also in garage.
Yeah. No, you can always tell. Obviously you meet a lot of brewers around the place, and you can always tell the guys that came in with like more of an engineering type background or a biochemistry background, and then the guys who were like, no, I made beer in buckets and it was great. So now I just bought bigger buckets, and I've got stainless steel buckets now and fucking cans everywhere, and you see the passion, and especially like you guys must be pumping out a new beer every week, every 2 weeks.
Almost every week we have to make something, but we got the problems with water because our osmosis system was old and small, and we could brew something every second or third day.
Oh.
Yeah, and as we have some agreements with these large the supermarkets.
Yeah,
we need to supply, and they are not asking something new.
Yeah,
they have
it's easier for stocking on the shelves and billing and everything else,
Yeah, but today we just you can see this is first we did it something we brewed New England with strawberry addiction.
Oh,
usually
nice.
we are so brave in sour beers, so there is not a problem.
Yeah,
something
because
all these fruits are not they are just frozen.
Yeah. Strawberry is an interesting one for New England. Yeah. I've done a few fruit New Englands at home. I did a mango New England and a peach New England. The peach didn't really come through as much as I wanted, but I thought it was still very interesting. Whereas that'd be a very kind of soft flavor that you expect to get that flavor from your hops and your yeast esters. But strawberry is out there.
Yeah, strawberry. It has quite a lot of strawberry smell.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful with balancing with hops, so you are not overwhelming one or another smell.
Yeah.
I think it came quite good. Came out.
How do you do that? Like, if it's that risky, do you just make a small little batch at home first and just try it, or do you just go for it? And
no time for that.
Yeah, go for it. Small
anyway. What we could done 2 tons, and as far as I know, it's almost all sold.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just currently we are canning it. Yeah. And what's strange, it's very hard to measure this carbonization level. I don't know. It shows very low, but in fact it's quite high. Maybe there is some kind of influence of these fruits there. I really don't know.
Yeah, it shouldn't really affect. You wouldn't think,
It shouldn't, but
yeah.
Figures so.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. Well, I suppose it's quite risky as well, putting fruit into a beer like that and then canning it with no pasteurization. You've got to be very, very sure that your fermentation is clean and it's finished.
We can't be sure about cleanness, but we are sure about that it's finished. At least the yeast what was there eat everything out.
Yeah. But if you
there will be something else.
If you pick up any oxygen in packaging, that you could have a lot of issues down the line.
Yeah.
I saw there was a lot of there was breweries in the UK that were doing a lot of kind of experimental stuff with putting fruit into IPAs, and a lot of them there was cans exploding. It was a legal nightmare for them. They had to recall all the cans, and but they knew it was going to happen, but they did it anyway because they put a warning on the can saying keep refrigerated or this may explode. And then obviously, look, that goes into a shop. It sits on a shelf. And, you know, it's you bring it home, you put it somewhere. Maybe the fridge is full. You know, you don't think of these things.
Let's see what will come out of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
At least we are keeping quite low oxygen levels. We just tested it. I think around 40.
Yeah, that's very good for in package is very good at that. Yeah. I was just wondering then when you you know with low carbonation, I suppose you have the heat, so you're probably getting a lot of foaming anyway.
Yeah.
In the package.
That's why we're wondering. Figure shows very low carbonization level, but mouthfeel and foaming is quite high.
Yeah. Look, you know, I think as good as, you know, Zaman Nagel, he's a great guy, you know, makes some decent equipment. But if it tastes good when it comes out of the end of the canning line, you know, the cans are good and firm, you know, that's the real measure.
Yeah. Anyway, we will put we all putting all cans in this, how you say, incubator.
Oh, you're pasteurizing?
No. We are putting can in incubator for 32 degrees for 2 weeks.
Oh, for accelerated age?
Yeah, to accelerate. If there is something bad, it accelerates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if something with dissolved oxygen, it's go bad quickly.
Yeah.
If something bad with you know, bacteria or something like that.
Yeah.
Also, so anyway, we will test it in and usually it shows already after 2-3 days. If something is bad, you can quickly move it out.
Yeah.
Is that a standard thing in sending out cans or is that something everybody?
No, it'd be considered good practice, especially as Kristaps is doing there, putting a lot of fruit and a lot of kind of extra stuff into it. That you lose a level of kind of security. So doing an accelerated maturation technique there, it just kind of covers you, you know. So he won't go until he's happy that it's shelf stable and will survive, you know. Especially if he's looking at 30 degrees temperatures outside, it's perfect temperature for something to go bad pretty quickly. So.
I thought it's standard laboratory procedure in large breweries that they incubate every beer for 2 weeks in 32 degrees.
Well, most larger ones would pasteurize.
You are doing pasteurizing?
No, we're not. No, but like the large macro breweries would all pasteurize. Now they probably would do accelerated maturation with them, raising and lowering the temperatures as well, to get both types of aerobic and anaerobic bacterial growth. But I think that I was talking to a contract bottler, and he was trying to get some work with somebody, and they wanted that done to all of the bottles as part of their procedure. So they were sending off. They do a bottling run, say 500 cases, say, and the case to a lab, and they'll do accelerated maturation and kind of take a lot of TIPO readings and microbial readings off it, and double check it that way, you know. But I think like we do qPCR testing on our canned products.
What is that? Sorry.
qPCR. It's the same as the COVID testing. Basically, it's genetic sequencing. So they'll run it through a sequencer, and they'll be looking for various different types of aerobic bacteria, and we just get the results back then a few days later. It's about a 4-day test. But that would be
so you are filtering out, for example, one kind of beer on and then put this filter in the incubator.
No, it's a qPCR, so it's a genetic testing. So it's genetic sequence testing, and it gets sent off to a lab. It's part of our canning routine. We send 2 cans to the lab. They run the first one. If the first one is positive for aerobic or diastatic or anything wild, they'll run the second one, and then there's a tank sample then as well. So they'll isolate it then and kind of go, right, the issue was in line. It was possibly something in the air that day, or is it in the tank, or so you see where the problem is.
Nice.
Yeah, we do that instead of the accelerated aging, but that I probably would pick up if there was any residual stuff from the yeast. So it depends what labs you have available to you. In Ireland, we're quite lucky that Wicklow Hops Company do a lot of that testing, and even the canning crowds, the mobile canners that go around to different breweries. It's part of the price that every batch, every run.
The standard procedure.
Yeah. But yeah, and it's not too expensive. I got a few tests done myself on different runs. I think it was only it's about €50, I think, per test to run a qPCR. But I think the machine itself is probably €50,000, €100,000. Like, it's, when you get into genetic sequencing, you're up there. He'd be a good guest for you, actually, Brian. Philip Woodnut is his name, from Wicklow Hops Company. He'd be a specialist kind of microbiologist, and that specializes in a lot of the stuff that Kristaps is doing there. So yeast propagation, custom strain creation. Does a lot of enzyme work and yeast work, and he does all of the testing for a lot of breweries around Ireland. He even does work with Bushmills. So even some of the macro stuff, he does their yeast testing. So on their yeast spring tanks, which would be, I think they go up to 100,000 liter yeast spring tanks, Kristaps.
How many?
100,000. So 100 tons if you work in tons.
Wow, 100 tons.
Yeah, they're impressive. I've seen the one in Heineken in Cork is just down the road for me, and I was doing an engineering course, kind of a brewing engineering, process engineering course, and they brought us there for a site visit. And would you believe that Heineken actually send over 1 5-liter drum of yeast every week from Holland? It gets special couriered over, doesn't leave the man, he holds it in the case all the way over, and they propagate that up to 100,000 over the course of 2 weeks, and then they feed that in line then.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Different scale.
I thought you'd appreciate that. No matter how big you get, even Heineken are still propping up their yeast.
Yeah.
I think it was 4. If I'm right, there was 4 tanks to bring it up from 5 liters to 100,000.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's your aim now for the future. That's your target.
But I'd say that's nearly the same scale as your what were you doing? 10 mil or 100 mils?
No, actually, 2 years maybe a year ago, we shifted to these how you can buy these for home brewers, these small people.
Yeah.
Labs and whatever. We moved to that. Before that, I was freezing the beer for the yeast.
Yeah.
I was freezing it in glycerin, so it stayed for at least 2 years. And when I needed I took it out, and maybe there was I got 7 milliliters of slurry.
Yeah.
So, but that means I had to have at least 2 steps compared to what I have now.
Yeah.
First step was 100 milliliters.
Mm.
Second was 1 liter, and then one was 20 liters, and then go big. So now we are already starting with 20 liters. So I just pitch this small pitch in that and propagate what need. And to get to 2 tons, I need 5 days, not more.
Yeah.
Actually, with cooling down, there is 4 or 5 days.
Oh yeah. What is your background? What were you before, apart from a home brewer?
Yeah, I'm a financist.
Financial analyst. Yeah. Self-taught. Everything else self-taught.
But here in brewery, I'm a yeast man, so I'm self-learned microbiologist and technical guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are 3 guys here. One is brewer. I know he's more common with malts and hops, and Riemans, he's salesman.
Yeah, 3-man team.
Yeah, so we are all home brewers, so we know.
Yeah,
how it is.
And what made you decide when you looked? I suppose you looked at the finances that there was that it was time to make the jump.
The money is not always money always is not a problem. As a financist, I see. So you just need a good idea, and you you need a very good team to implement this idea.
And there's how many breweries are there in Latvia now? I know
maybe 35 around, or 40. Small breweries are at least, I think, 20, 25.
Okay, and most of them are
breweries, yeah.
And they're nearly all going for export market, is it?
For export, actually, is going not more than 3 or 4, I think.
Okay, I thought, given the size of the population, that nearly everyone had to export like crazy.
Yeah, because we get population only 1.8 million, so, and there are very long and deep lager traditions here in Latvia, so it is very hard to shift to ales. It's not like in Ireland.
You do a lot of export?
I'm sorry. One moment.
Do you?
Yeah, I think they do, because we had Arpus on a few weeks ago. It's also from Latvia, and it seemed to be that export. That export has to be, a big factor.
Yeah. What proportion of your beer is export?
Around 70-80%.
80% export.
Yep.
Yes, that's massive.
It could be much more if we could produce more, but I think we will do it in next months.
Yeah.
So I think we should export around 90-95. That's normal. I think normal situation could be, because our market is getting saturated also.
Yeah.
As it is in Estonia, and so that could be.
That's crazy to me, to think that a brewery would be looking for 95% of its product to export.
Yeah, but you got large local market. That is first one. We get very small local market. Your market is much more richer than our market. But I think the prices for beer is the same, more or less.
Yeah, I suppose because the ingredients that I'm paying for is the same.
Yeah,
You're paying for the ingredients. So yeah, I suppose. But a pint in Latvia, say a pint in the pub, is probably €1.
no. Starting from 4 or 5 euros.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought it would be cheaper. That'd be standard in Ireland. 5.
No, standard beer goes around 2 to 3 euros. Standard beer. Craft beer goes 4 or 5.
Yeah,
depending on from where it comes.
yeah.
And how do you do you have to do a lot then to build up that export market, or is it just because Andres from Arpus was on a few weeks ago and he was saying that basically just whatever he produces, someone will come and take it.
Yeah, it's something like that.
He has to go out for the market.
Yeah. I don't know how it's. I'm not a salesman, but I know that you have to make all the time something new. But the first thing, you have good ratings.
Mm.
Yeah, and in that case, everything what you produce will be taken out.
Mm.
So it's the brewery name rather than any of the beers. You don't really have a core range.
Yeah, we don't have a name. What name we have? We are only 2 years old.
Mm.
But still, but it's that's what you're trying to build, though. It's not that people aren't going to come looking for, say, your sour bit raspberry. You're only making that once or twice, and then that's gone, and they're going to come looking for the next Hopalaa beer.
Yeah, but this is some kind of style because, for example, here in Latvia, we every Friday have 5 new beers coming out in crafts, at least 5. I think maybe more. So that's I don't think that is normal situation. You are getting very tired, and your beers are getting very similar. Actually, if we know that almost everyone wants some New England IPAs, we already, and it should be light, and it should be hazy, and it should be very, very aromatic. So it's not very much combinations what you can get. It's almost the same. Yeah, you should be very, very big expert to make difference between them. At least you will not make any difference after 2 or 3 months after tasting one, and then comes another.
Yeah, all you can do really, you can't mess around with the malt profile too much. Because that's the style. It needs to be hazy. It's oats, wheats, and you might throw in a bit of Vienna or a bit of chip malt or something like that. But you're just switching out the hops. The yeast is the yeast.
And it's also not so many varieties of yeast what you can use there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so I think even for the style, there's only if there's 5 good New England yeasts, that would be about it,
Yeah, that's why I'm hoping on this cast program what we could start in autumn.
Yeah. Mm.
Of course, the results will be only after a year, but in that case, for sour ones, you automatically get something very, very different every time with imperial stouts. Yes, there you get something stable, but anyway, you will start to change something. You got casks from there, and
I was actually filling a cask yesterday. I was filling it with new make whiskey, but it was a maple syrup barrel.
Yeah,
and the smell and the taste was amazing. The best maple syrup I've ever had in my life. We brought from America, so it was a bourbon barrel, and they filled it with maple syrup, and they left the maple syrup in it for 1 year, emptied it out, and then brought it over to us. And the smell was amazing. And all I could think of while filling it was, I need to put an imperial stout into this.
After that,
yeah. Even before, just get more barrels and just go straight into a maple syrup barrel with a really rich, thick imperial stout. I think the flavor would just be amazing. And I have some more of them that are cognac barrels that had maple syrup in them last as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's so many interesting barrel types out there that I'd see in the distillery, and hopefully we're going to move to a larger production facility in the next kind of year or two, and we'll get to play around with a bit more of this. Because have you ever smelt a tequila barrel?
I haven't. That's the difference between Ireland and Latvia. We don't have local barrels. You are lucky ones.
No, these aren't local. We buy these. We bring them from America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we import them, like containers of barrels for filling whiskey. But when you go on to the kind of the world market, the variety of barrels out there is unreal.
Yeah. We have some contacts in France and Portugal.
Yeah.
And they are sending regularly these lists.
Yeah.
So you feel it like in candy shop.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Oh yeah. That
stays on in a tequila barrel now would be lovely.
Buy a barrel. That's the simplest thing.
You'll get plenty of use out of them. You just need to store them.
Yeah, but anyway, you have to field it. You have to evaluate: is it good or not? That's practice and understanding. Without any experience,
it'll take a couple of years to build up to have the knowledge.
Look, it could be worse. I make whiskey and I put it into the barrel. I don't know if the recipe is good for 5 years.
Yeah.
And in 5 years' time, if I taste it and kind of go, shit, my recipe is rubbish. What do I do with 5 years of stock?
But anyway, you are blending whiskey also.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that. That's a very, very tough job too, to get a consistent product in blending.
Yeah, I read these articles how these sour breweries do it blending in America. Yeah, it's of course there are some basic principles how to evaluate the base, this impact of aromas, but anyway, I think it's not easy how it looks, how it sounds.
Yeah, well, you should be here. Last week I had Brewers who were on with Sakishkas and Doc, and they were doing the beers, and in the middle of it, Ben from Brewers who suddenly started blending the other beers together, and he was just mixing them all up and seeing what happened.
Yeah.
So it's practice, I guess.
Yeah. There's an old friend of mine, Simon O'Keefe. He's brewing with them. I don't know if you've heard of them, Motive Beer Company in Croatia. Bura would probably know him all right. He did a lot of work blending in America. So he might be a good man to talk to. I'm sure he'll come down the road and give you a hand.
Yeah,
or up the road.
Yeah, we'll be up the road. Sorry, I had to get my European geography.
Yeah. But so I mean, it sounds like, Ronan, that you didn't really know what the Latvian scene was, that it surprised you a bit. But I guess that's a lot of the export.
I was blown away, as I said, when I opened the box. I was just kind of like, the first thing I pulled out was a double dry hop milkshake IPA or something, and I was like, whoa, didn't expect that, and they just kept coming, That's some really interesting styles, and you can really see the kind of the American influence on it, and with the small batches and the amount of different ones you have to brew. It's, I know we probably bring out probably 2 new beers a month, kind of when we're going, you know, and like that's enough for me, because you as you said, there's only so many combinations that you can do, and you know, you can see by your beers that you're really starting to have to think outside the box and kind of go, right, what else can we do to make something new and different, so that it's not just like we did before, you know.
Yeah.
And the cans look great.
But the other problem, I guess, when doing that many beers is you just have to trying to come up with names for them all, and artwork, and all of that stuff. I mean, that's got to be pretty underestimated.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. Like, I'd say even just getting labels would be tricky. Do you print your own labels, Kristaps?
No, we are not printing them, but we are making. Printing companies doing that.
Yeah.
At least now there isn't problems with labels. The problems are with cans, with carton boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit with malt. We are mainly using Simpson malt. So they have at this moment they have, as far as heard, 1 month's lead time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for cans you are even there is no lead time.
They don't even tell you anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we had the same. We were meant to be canning 2 batches, say about 8,000 liters next week, and in 2 weeks' time, on the 1st and 2nd of July, we're meant to be canning 8,000 liters with a contract canning company. And you get the phone call then from the label company, kind of going, "Oh, we don't have any paper."
Paper is the problem.
I ordered this weeks ago. They were like, "Oh yeah, but we don't have paper. What can you do for me?" "We don't have paper. There's nothing we can do." It's like, it comes out in the UK. When will you have them? I don't know. And yeah, so postpone the canning by a couple of weeks, and you know yourself, if you postpone in a production schedule, I've now got beer sitting in tank. It's not getting any better, and half of my fermentation capacity is taken up with beer that is sitting there. Nothing is moving on. It's all just kind of, everything just grinds to a halt with something as simple as they don't have a certain pigment for the paper. That's it.
Well, look, we're coming. We've been here for an hour and a bit, and we didn't even mention yours, Ronan, yet. I just wondering. I don't think we're doing it, but is there anything, Kristaps, that jumped out at you when you saw anything from Blacks there that you said that looks interesting, or that looked out of the ordinary?
Oh, we're talking about beers. I already drink these too.
Yeah, certainly. If there's anything that just jumped out at you and thought, this was.
I like these. I like this one very much.
It's a haze. Yeah.
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 I'm tired of New England, but
sorry.
I'm tired of these kind of beers, but anyway, I like them.
Yeah. So that one was just like that. Needed to do something different, and it was like the Ace of Haze in the small can is a really big seller for us. That'd be kind of a core range. So we produce that year round now, and so I was like, well, take that and throw some different hops into it, make it a bit stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty happy with the way that one came out. And the other one then is a West Coast IPA. I just ramped up the bitterness. I think you tested at about 75 IBU, so it was pretty high. But I didn't want to make a not too bitter West Coast. If you're doing it, hit the style hard,
Yeah, we have two West Coasts currently. Probably you got something in the box, Dunk and Slum Dunk. These are, I don't like West Coast, but these are one of our oldest beers. They are demanded all the time.
Yeah.
not in very large amounts, but anyway, they are very stable.
Yeah.
And demanded beers.
Mm.
Yeah, New England comes and goes, but those stays.
Yeah, it's the West Coast and the pale ales and the session. Like in Ireland, there's a movement, kind of sales wise, like that. If you put 100 cases on the market of an 8% beer, it's gone. There's no problem. But you could put 400 cases of a 4.5%, 5% beer onto the market, and it's gone. Like there's much more of an appetite for lighter, more sessionable beers, because I even find it myself. You're looking through the fridge on a Tuesday, kind of saying, "Oh, I'll have a couple of beers there now."
Yeah,
And you're like 8%, 8%, 8%. Was like, no, I'm brewing in the morning. I'm getting up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
yeah.
4.2, 5%. So yeah, I'll have a few of these, and I think that's where the volume is in Ireland and kind of in craft beer at the moment. But you want to make a beer that people will drink on a Tuesday, not just on a Saturday at 9 o'clock. You're really limiting yourself to a time frame there where people will drink that. Maybe that's just me, but no, it rings true for a lot of people. We see it in our reviews as well, kind of going, like the Little Ace of Haze is only 4.2%, and they're kind of going, it's great to have a beer with such body and such flavor, but with that low alcohol that you can have 2 cans and you're fine to drive in the morning. You're not putting yourself under that much pressure. You can have a can with lunchtime. It's a different kind of ball game when you go up to these 6, 7, 8% New Englands that they're lovely, but they're heavy.
Yeah.
And I think if you drank, what would you drink, Dave? I might drink 20 beers in a week. I drank about 15 pints last night, but sorry. So in lockdown, should we say, when the pubs aren't open and you're not meeting up with your buddies and having the crack, you might drink 15 beers in a week. I'd say 10 of those beers would be 5% beers, and maybe 5 of them would be stronger than that.
Yeah, whereas nearly all yours are pretty high ABV, aren't they?
Yeah, because that's where the export market is. That's if you want to charge money for beer, it's in the export game. I think they're kind of going, is it strong? Is it barrel aged? Is it sour? They're the things that they put like a value on, where like to all extents and purposes, like if you discount taxes and duty and revenue and stuff like that, like the cost of making 6-7% beer versus the cost of making 4% beer, when you're making New England style, that you pretty much write off the extra grain that it takes to make that beer. You go, it's 100 kilos of grain, but I'm putting 50 kilos of hops into this beer. That 100 kilos of grain isn't going to break the bank. Like it's you don't even factor that in when you're kind of doing your pricing. You're kind of going, yeah, there was X amount of hops. The hops cost this much. Yeah, there was some malt, and it's fine. Yeah. Do you find that the same as well, Kristaps?
This financial side is very interesting. Sometimes it doesn't influence the end price of the can. Very much what you are putting there.
Yeah. You can only get so much for a case of beer, especially in the export market. It's even tighter.
Yeah. So these 10 or 20 cents on the can, they doesn't pay a roll here.
Yeah.
Because everything else is the same for that beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, brewing, canning, transporting, and labor costs and fixed costs, they are the same.
Yeah.
So, and also when you start looking how quick are you selling your beer. As more fancy it is, as quickly you can sell it.
Yeah. Sure, it's the old thing, you know. I think the DDH that only came around about 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and now you have to put it on the can. It's like, oh, I just did a single dry hop on that. It was crazy. What were you thinking, you idiot? And it's like, oh, but it's true to style and everything else. You should fucking put more.
Yeah. This was that evaluation of hop amounts that some 5 years ago there was 5 to 7 grams per liter.
Yeah.
Then it 10. Now I think we have the lowest. What is hop? Okay, not sour ones, but at least lowest is I think 12. And everyone says, yeah, you should try at least 15. Yeah.
What's the biggest you've done?
The biggest around 25.
25.
25, yeah.
That's heavy in a small batch.
Yeah, 25. Especially we don't have this centrifugal filtering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of waste and but anyway, when you are going above 20, you shouldn't do it automatically as in recipe. You are putting in dry hopping and you are tasting and you are thinking, is it enough or we need more?
Yeah.
Anyway, we are very often moving from recipe usually upwards when we think that we need to add more hops. Maybe some problems with hops or something else, or you just doesn't get that what you have imagined, and you have to rise some 2-3 grams at least. That was designed.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's the old homebrew way. It's not quite right. More hop.
Yeah, but if you are making a recipe only one time,
yeah,
it's okay.
A little bit more.
Then we will make it second time. No one will remember that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe that's a good point to end on. So just about how much more hops, and we'll see what comes out next. How much more hops can add. Listen, thanks a million for coming along. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
No, good.
Very interesting for me anyway.
Well, it's a shame Bura couldn't get his technical issue sorted.
You couldn't get all that working, but sure, that's life.
That's it.
So look, we'll let you go because I've already held you for over an hour and a half, and I promised you about an hour. So that's thanks. So just let you know, next week I have 3 more coming on. I have Higgins Ale Works from Germany, Husky from Malta, and Caps from Netherlands, who are all small in their own little area. So to be honest, I have very little knowledge especially about Malta. I have no idea what the brewing scene in Malta is. So should be interesting if you're around. Come along.
My replay is great. I'm usually busy on the Saturdays, but I always come in then and catch a replay, see what's going on. You know, have to highlights reel.
Yeah, it's all highlights. Well, look. So thanks a million, Ronan and Kristaps. It's brilliant hearing about what's going on.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day I'll make it to Latvia. I'll come down and see you. Make a beer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we will go to Ireland to look at your cast program. I'm very interested.
just to smell them, yeah.
Yeah, just smell. And it's not only smell, just look how it goes and
exactly. Right.
Listen, thanks a million. I'm going to play out a little video here now, just showing who's coming on next week.